Hey guys, I'm a bit sick at the moment, so I've got sneezing and sniffles and coughing and snot and all that, so just ignore it. Just pretend it's not there because I still wanted to do a video this weekend. Today I am bribing Naomi into talking with you about her tail. Every rat owner that I know loves their rat's tail, but it's a huge bummer how often she's getting treats. It's a big bummer how often I hear other people say that they don't like their tails or that they wouldn't be as creeped out by rats if they didn't have a tail. You know, that's kind of the point where you just zone out of it and just sigh internally. And you rat owners know what I'm talking about because I'm sure there are quite a few conversations that you have on a regular basis with non-rat owners that have this effect on you. Their tails have purpose, and they wouldn't be our rats without their tails. So here's to appreciating your rat's tails without having to get an eye full of mullet whenever you Google rat tails. We're going to start with the anatomy, and the core of the tail is the bone, which is surrounded by tendons and blood vessels. We've got the dorsal vein up top and the lateral veins on either side, with the ventral artery on the bottom. Outside, the skin is scale-like and has short, thick hairs. A rat's tail is an extension of their spine, and the length could be about the same length as their body. However, that can vary with every individual rat, sometimes being a little shorter and sometimes being a little longer. The tail has two main functions. The first, and probably the most obvious, is balance. Their tail moves to adjust their balance, much like a tightrope walker uses a pole to make slight adjustments in weight and motion on each side to keep themselves centered on the rope. Except tightrope walkers just go forward and backward, while the pole they use is used to adjust their right and left sides. But rats can rotate their tails all the way around, helping them adjust regardless of which direction they're facing and what position they're in. Second is thermoregulation. Because the skin on the tail is bare, the blood vessels underneath lose heat faster. As the temperature gets warmer, the blood vessels take advantage of this and dilate, allowing more blood to pulse through their tail. That means more blood will be losing heat quicker, so when it flows through the body, it's cooling down the rat. When the temperature is colder, the same blood vessels will constrict, allowing less blood to flow through the tail, which will minimize the loss of heat. If an IV needs to be done on a rat or a mouse and the lateral veins aren't easily visible for them, the scientist or the doctor that is administering the injection will sometimes simulate this dilation, and they'll do that by using an incubator or a heat lamp or just by placing the rat or mouse's tail in a cup of warm water. So how do you care for their tail? As I mentioned earlier, their tails are an extension of their spine, so you do want to avoid any kind of rough handling that could cause a fracture or a dislocation or even a break in their tail. You never want to hold a rat by its tail, nor do you ever want to pull or tug or grab at their tail. Doing so could deglove part of the tail, meaning that the skin would be removed, leaving the bone underneath exposed. And that's going to require amputation on that part of the tail in order to heal properly. Trust me, neither your rat nor your wallet will be very appreciative of that traumatic experience. When a rat's tail curves up over their body, it's called wheel tail, and that's because it's the same position a rat would have their tail in while running on a wheel. There's actually a pretty interesting debate about the use of wheels and what causes wheel tail, so I'd like to address that in its own video at a later time so that I can expand a bit more on each side of this debate instead of just trying to cram it into this video. And with that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.